Hello folks, welcome to the Self-Love Podcast. I'm Polly. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're talking about the missing piece when it comes to self-love. And we're going to start to talk about uncovering the importance of inner alignment. Why inner alignment is so unbelievably important for self-love is that without inner alignment, we can't connect to this flow of life that moves inside of us. Now, mindset is extremely important, but mindset is not everything. It is so important to work with practices and become extremely aware of how you are looking after your mind. Are you the commander of the mind, or is the mind the commander of you? This is extremely important. It's really important to have a positive mental attitude towards life if you want to move forward, right? Because a positive mental attitude is expansive and a negative mental attitude is very protective and it can keep you very stuck. Both things are part of the mind. The negative mind is very primitive. It just likes to keep us safe. The positive mind is very creative and inspired, and it likes to move us forward. So it's so important to have a hold of our mind and to be able to be the commander of that space. But mindset is not everything. And inner alignment, often I find, or specifically I found in my own journey, that inner alignment is the missing key when it comes to feeling deeply connected to oneself, when it comes to feeling true self-love, real self-love, feeling safe being yourself, which is my little definition of self-love. Self-love equals feeling safe being yourself and allowing the truest, most authentic version of yourself to show up daily. So of course it's really important to have a beneficial mindset for that, because if we don't have command over our thoughts, we feel like we are being commanded by our thoughts, and we can't find that separation between the thoughts and the beliefs and our personality even, and some of the more exterior things in life that the mind likes to jazz up, create a narrative out of, and then replay over and over and over again throughout our life. If we don't have command over those things, we start to believe that we are our thoughts, and we start to believe that we are our beliefs, I suppose, and we start to believe that we are our personality, and we are all of these more exterior values that we lay upon ourselves. And that's simply not the case, right? We are simply awareness, consciousness, experiencing these very human-like qualities and experiencing the fluctuations of the mind. So mindset is extremely important to move us forward, but without inner connection, which we're going to go into in this podcast, it's very, very hard to command the mind. And it's also going to lack in some wholesomeness. It's going to lack in a deeper feeling, a deeper purposeful interaction with the world. So mindset is very much about our thoughts and our beliefs and training our mental state to be able to deal with things in the way that we want to be able to deal with them, instead of falling into the back seat, being the backseat driver and the mind dealing you. This is never going to be very helpful for moving forward in life with anything that you set your mind to. It will allow us to, when we have a good, strong mindset, it'll allow us to focus more. We'll get more clarity in what we're doing. We will be able to focus our mind to one mono decision that we want to work with, instead of the mind spilling out left, right and centre and becoming very distracted. We will be able to shift our thoughts from negative to positive. We will be able to shift our attitude from feeling clouded to feeling confident and clear. There is many different ways in which the mindset can move us forward. But if we work with mindset only and lack the inner connection to ourselves, we're going to be missing something. Something's still going to feel a void, because essentially the mind is a vehicle that can work with us. It can drive us in the right direction, or it's a vehicle that's going to get steered all out of sync if we let it take control over us. Okay, and when we think about a vehicle, these are things that, similar to our physical body, it's a vehicle that takes us in a hopefully very functional way from A to B. These things are vehicles, right? But there's something much deeper than the vehicles, and that's our inner alignment. And if we are out of touch with that space, we're not going to feel whole from the inside out. We're just going to be operating vehicles, and that can feel a little bit robotic. It can feel a little bit misaligned, and it can also feel like it's just this structural thing that takes us from A to B, gets our jobs done, allows us to show up to work, for example, in a very positive and helpful way. But is it giving us purpose? Is it really allowing us to connect to our desires? Is it allowing us to connect to a deep sense of self-love, awareness, intuition, all of these things, okay? So let's talk about uncovering the importance of inner alignment, what it is, and how we can start to connect to that daily. So inner alignment is essentially feeling like we are in flow with our life. We feel in flow. We feel connected to our deeper sense of self. Okay, not our personality, not our ego, not our work or even relationships and all of this more external stuff. Inner alignment is feeling a deeper connection to life itself, presence, our true authentic nature, which goes much deeper than the mind, much deeper than everything that's happening around us. Okay, so I want to quickly talk about the 3 brains in the body. And this is another way that I like to think about how can we connect to a deeper sense of alignment in ourselves, and essentially uncovering this much more wholesome self-love, feeling confident being us on a very deep level, not fake confidence that comes from when we've had a compliment, or we've done something good in our business, or we've done something fabulous at work, or we feel like we've got praise from our boss, or we've been working on our physical health and we feel confident in the way that we look. So these are all exterior things. Deep inner alignment comes from feeling very whole from the inside out. And let's talk about the 3 brains and how this can connect to inner alignment. So we've got the 3 brains. We've got the head brain, which is very analytical. We've got the heart brain, which is all about give and receive. And we've got the gut brain, which is about connection and nurturing. Now, all 3 of these brains are very, very vital. If we are just working with mindset, we're often just working with the head brain, right? So we're actually limiting our experience of life and living, because we're just working from this very analytical space. How can I change my mindset from feeling like it's out of control, and how can I train my brain to feel in control and in command and becoming the observer of the thoughts, finding some space between myself and what it is that I'm thinking. This is very head-brain orientated, but deep inner alignment requires us to come back to our heart brain and our gut brain as well. So let's think about the heart brain. The heart brain is about give and receive, and feeling very connected to this deeper electromagnetic field in the body that's extremely expansive. It's a space of connection. It's a space of love, unconditional love. And when we are out of alignment with ourselves, we might have forgotten that this space is part of our being, okay? We might be just working with that mental space. And it's really important to tune into the heart brain on a regular basis, daily. And you can do this by simply connecting to yourself with some stillness first and foremost. Coming back to the breath, coming back to stillness, coming back to listening to yourself. We often get so distracted with this very exterior way of moving through life that we forget to listen to our inner wisdom. And our inner wisdom comes from the heart space. It comes from the gut space as well. So just simply tuning into the heart space, you might sit in a meditation position, you might lie down flat and connecting to the breath, because the breath is our anchor to the present moment. And it's very important to connect back to that very still space of the present moment, where the mind becomes more still and we feel more connected to life itself, to be able to come back to listening to the heart. And the heart has a lot to say for itself. Yeah, the head is very loud. The heart and the gut can sometimes be more quiet. The head is very harsh. The heart and the gut are often very soft. The head is very analytical and it's trying to always figure something out. The heart and the gut are trying to allow us to be and listen to our self-awareness a little bit more, listen to our intuition a little bit more, allow us to connect to our true values, our authentic state. Sometimes we can lose connection with our true values, and we think, because we think so much, that it might be this, or we really believe in that, or we really feel like this is our true value, but often we haven't actually listened to what it is that we really feel our core values are from a deeper level. Yeah, instead we take up on all these social, cultural, societal, and also social circles that we've been moving throughout our life, our parenting, education, location. You know, all these different influences that we have can often influence our values, and it takes stillness and a connection back to our heart space, our heart brain, to be able to recognize, see the wood for the trees, see where our real values, our authentic values are hidden underneath the rubble of falsehoods, other people's opinions, other people's influence on our life. And it does take that time in stillness and silence to be able to tune into ourselves and come back to that inner alignment. So that is one way of coming back to your inner alignment. It is very important to listen to the heart space. Yeah, and coming back to a sense of stillness. You might even ask yourself, once you've come back to stillness, connected to the breath, slow the nervous system down a little bit so you can feel more steady, more grounded to the space. Then you might even ask out loud a question to your more divine self. You know, what is it that I need right now? What am I not hearing? how can I come back to myself on a deeper level? Okay, these very simple questions. And doing this by sitting up with a very straight spine keeps us very focused, very alert, and it allows our energy to flow freely through all of those different brains, gut brain, heart brain, head brain, and allows us to feel more deeply connected to that aligned space within us. Gut brain, heart brain, head brain, when we are lifted up nice and tall and we are breathing through all of those spaces with much more focus and clarity and conscious breath, not unconscious breath, conscious breath allows us to come back to integrating into those different brains again instead of just working from this very analytical space. So that's the first thing. Coming back to the gut brain is another way of really starting to connect back to our inner alignment. So in yoga, we say that the gut is our second brain. I often see it as the first brain because I personally am a very feeling sort of person. I always feel if something's off before my head starts to overanalyze that. So, you know, the word gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. The gut doesn't lie, it's really the truth. Our gut is our centre of connection and nourishment, and it knows what we need. It knows what we need. And if we just gave ourselves a little bit more time to actually listen to that voice becomes a lot louder. Our intuitive knowing, our clair knowing, our psychic ability, which we all have somewhere along the line, but we tend to block it off. Our natural instincts, if you like, our very feminine way of connecting to life, which is a more intuitive approach to living, can be heard because we are quieting the head brain. Now, coming back to the gut space and really sort of listening to that inner guidance, our inner wisdom, really requires us to come back to, again, calming the head brain down. Now, I often find for the gut brain, it's important to do a little bit of movement into that area. When our digestive system is feeling a little bit blocked, or all of those lower sort of organs feel like they need a little bit of clearing, a little bit of cleansing, if they're weighing quite heavy in your body, the energy can get quite stuck in that area. And when our energy isn't circulating properly throughout our body, it can feel like we are disconnected from that inner world. Because essentially when we breathe deeply, this is going to affect our energy. When we move and breathe consciously, this is going to affect our energy as well. And our energy likes to flow freely like water inside of the body. So it's much harder to connect to these two more intuitive spaces, our heart and our gut, if our energy is stuck in those spaces. Okay, so keeping that flow of energy moving is really important to be able to hear what those spaces have to tell us. So some simple movement into the lower triangle of the body is really helpful for connecting to the gut brain. You know, you might do some specific yoga poses. Walking is also very good. Walking in nature is much better than walking in a gym, for example. Really connecting back to your body, back to your physical body. Bringing the energy downwards as well into the physical body, away from just the head, is a really important way to earth our feelings, allow us to connect back to feelings and emotions, and not just thoughts and not just analytical stuff, really coming back to some of those more intuitive and authentic ways of experiencing life. You know, when we were children, I suppose, specifically in the much earlier days, we would very much feel our way through life. We would explore life through touch and using the senses, through hearing and listening, through seeing and looking, and being very acutely observant to those senses, through taste, right through movement and touch and exploring things around us. And nowadays, as we grow into adults, we become very analytical. The work that we've been conditioned to work like nowadays very much comes from the head, doesn't it? And when we need to connect back to our more gut feelings, we really need to start to connect back to the body, to our inner body. And that, again, it might come through some yoga poses. It might come through, like I say, walking. It might come through even some people might find dance or very organic movement into the body, something that feels like you're moving intuitively through your own self-expression with the physical body. So just moving it organically. And doing any form of movement that just allows you to free up some energy from that lower area of the body, from the belly and the navel and the hips, and even coming into the legs and the feet, and just exploring emptying that space, eliminating from that space. We often take on a lot more than we actually eliminate in life, which can result in us feeling blocked and stuck, information overload, hyper arousal of the nervous system. And when it comes to working with the gut brain, using elimination is really important to be able to have clear intuition from that space, clear gut feeling. Yep. So movement, breathing, connecting back to stillness is going to bring us back into our inner body, our heart and our gut, and avoiding ourselves from feeling with this just very one-dimensional being where we're just mastering the mindset and only taking on one element of our existence. And really self-love comes from a feeling of deep divinity inside of us, a feeling that we are connected to ourselves, the vibrancy and the aliveness of our inner body, feeling the flow of energy that's working inside of us, feeling the more subtle vibrations of our inner world. And when we start to feel that, we really connect back to our own consciousness. We become connected back to our vital life force. We feel plugged into the universe. We feel tuned into everything else that's going on around us, that connectiveness of nature and every single one of us combined together. And when we come back to that space, we recognize that self-love is already within us. It's not something that we need to gain. It's something that we already have. We just haven't given ourselves the time and the stillness away from the noise of the mind and come back to a more observant space, a more feeling space, and actually tuned into that really vibrant life force that's running in every single cell of our being. So that space already feels very, very whole, very, very purposeful, and it's about allowing ourselves to connect back to that inner alignment for us to be able to feel what that actually feels like. Okay, so that's why mindset is not everything, and it's really important to come back to intuition, emotions, feelings, knowing how to process our emotions, and just coming back to that inner glow. Okay, so that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this session. Leave me a little comment if you liked it, if it helped, and if you want any tools to start to work with coming back to your inner body. You can follow me on Instagram at Northern Soul, and I post daily, a couple of times a day, Kundalini yoga, self-love tips, energy work that allows you to empower yourself daily from your home and connect back to a deeper sense of self. Okay, lots of love. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Hi guys, thanks for watching that video with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it means the world to me. If you would like to watch any more videos, there's 2 here just for you.